Sachin Bansal invests $21 million in Ola. The investment values the cab-hailing company at $5.7 billion. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. Straight to the Lal Street, where markets started the week on a weak footing. The Nifty flirting with the 200-day moving average, ending with cuts of 0.5%. The Sensex also shed over 150 points in trade. Mid-cap saw a subdued fall of about 0.2%, while banks took a beating in trade. The index shed about 0.75%. From equities, though, to Mint Street, where a strong dollar and weak global risk sentiment pushed the rupee lower. So the Indian unit ended at 70.93 against the dollar, against Friday's close of 70.49. This is the rupee's lowest level against the dollar since the 17th of December. And on to the macros. Retail inflation for the month of December coming in at 2.19%. That's almost unchanged compared to 2.3% in November. The decline in food and vegetable prices, as well as a drop in fuel inflation, has helped keep retail inflation flat for the month. However, core inflation at 5.7% was higher than expected. Well, that wraps up the market and the macro action for you. And let's go straight to the top story this evening. The Modi government is all set to present the voter account on the 1st of February. And we are given to understand that the centre may consider hiking the income tax exemption limit for individuals to 5 lakh rupees currently. The exemption threshold stands at about 2.5 lakh rupees. Let's go across to Timsy Jaipuria now for more details. Timsy, this is election season, so sweeteners are likely to be on the anvil. But what exactly are you picking up?
With all eyes on the upcoming budget, government is likely to bring in some relief for the low-income group. According to sources, government is currently weighing the pros and cons of increasing exemption limit of income tax. Now, sources told CNBC TV 18 that government is mulling options to see if it can increase the income tax exemption limit to 5 lakh rupees from current 4 lakh rupees. Remember, this 4 lakh is a combination of two things. That is, one is exempted from paying income tax if the annual income is below 2.5 lakh rupees. And government also allows exemption on various savings schemes to the maximum of 1.5 lakh rupees per annum, thus making it a total of 4 lakhs. And now government is weighing options that this total of 4 lakhs, if it can be increased to 5 lakhs. Not just this, direct tax relief for large corporate houses might have to wait, as sources share that government is unlikely to reduce the corporate tax rate for remaining 1% of corporate taxpayers to 25%, as it feels that the revenue implication of this particular move would be about 1 lakh crore rupees per annum. And this is also reasoned by the thinking of the government to give relief to low-income group first as a priority, as against extending relief to corporate houses. On the other hand, when it comes to indirect taxes, government is also unlikely to make major indirect tax policy changes in the upcoming vote on account budget, as government is very clear that it would first focus on revenue stabilization on the indirect tax side and would also want to wait for any further rationalization of custom duties for the moment. However, let's see what finally happens when Finance Minister Arun Jaitley reads out his budget speech on February 1st. We'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Joining us now to discuss this further, Dinesh Kanabar, CEO of Dhruva Advisors. Mr. Kanabar, thanks very much for joining us. Well, that's source-based information. No final decision has been taken, but this is certainly a consideration. What do you make of it?
A couple of things. As was mentioned on your channel, this is a vote on account and not a budget, and therefore, ordinarily speaking, one ought not to see any significant changes happen at all. If at all the government does decide to...
These are not ordinary times, sir.
the other thing I would say...
We've seen constitutional amendments go through in a single day of sitting of parliament, sir.
So the way I look at it is that the government has just announced a 10% reservation, and for that 10% reservation, now come back to say that 8 lakh rupee is the income limit, and therefore obviously it makes sense to increase the exemption limit, because to say that people are taxpayers and still qualify for low income scheme itself does not really make sense. It's really a bit contradictory, but it would be a bit unusual. But as you rightly said, we are living in unusual times, and therefore anything could go through. Basically what I am expecting, Shireen, is that in this budget a lot of policy announcements would be announced on the tax front. And those policy announcements would be on the basis that if this government did get re-elected, what are the likely changes they will bring about? As you know, the government has constituted a new committee for direct taxes code. That committee is looking at a variety of things and the changes and the simplification, etc. And I think some of those proposals will be tabled as a proposition to the people to say that if this government did come back, what are the changes they should expect to see? Those will be the major things to look out for, as opposed to really any more changes to the direct tax laws. There was also a mention on the indirect tax laws, and as you know, Shirin, indirect tax has now moved out of the budget into the state committee, and really therefore that one should not be expecting at all.
All right, Mr. Kanabar, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you joining us. So not too much expected on the indirect tax front, but perhaps some sweeteners on direct taxes. That's what we're picking up. But remember, this is still a matter that's being under consideration. No decision has been taken yet. From one possible story to another, the government is also looking at announcing a basic income support scheme for farmers in the upcoming votes and accounts. Sources say the Agriculture Ministry has provided the data on the categories of farmers and the size of fields to the Prime Minister's office. The government is weighing the options, and the Prime Minister will take a final call on when and if the package will be announced. Sapna Das joins us now with the details. Sapna, we've seen a lot of discussion between the Agriculture Minister, Niti Aayog, as well as the Finance Ministry. What are you picking up? I mean, how close are we to a decision, and is it likely to find its way into the vote and account as well?
Well, that's what the indications are as of now, that probably we'll have to wait for Feb 1 for the vote and account format to be announced, because anything that they say will need an allocation for sure. We are very clearly given to understand that if the income scheme, quote unquote, the income scheme for farmers does come about, the important thing that we need to keep in mind is that it's going to be prospective. So anything that comes in will only be from the next crop season. Most likely the Kharif season picks up by around April something, or kickstarts from there onwards. So the new financial year is what you should be watching out for. So prospective in nature. And as I said, probably wait till the vote and account. But there's another side of the story that we are getting to hear very clearly, and that is basically the government probably would, like some dedicated funds to make sure that they can make the announcement. Because there are a lot of subsidy schemes in practice right now. The DBT format has already worked for a couple of them. Fertilizer has been under discussion for such a long time that how do you do the fertilizer subsidies through DBT, and then, we've not really heard much on that front. So, a bit of a question mark as to what will really happen to those other subsidy schemes through the DBT. Will there be a further streamlining on that front as well if you're coming out with an income scheme, the fiscal parameters, the fiscal cost, of course, and how sustainable it will be? So I suppose that's where, they are waiting as of now. So no decision yet. But let's see if Feb 1 you hear something on the income scheme.
Thanks very much, Sapna. Final call will be taken by the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, earlier today, a news report said that Reserve Bank of India had warned North Block that the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana scheme might turn out to be the next big source of non-performing assets. A government official has since told CNBC TV 18 that there has been no letter or communication from the RBI to the Finance Ministry on NPAs in the Mudra loans. The government official, however, did tell CNBC TV 18 that the NPA level of PSBs in Mudra loans is currently at 3.4%, which North Block believes is a reasonable threshold. Another exclusive, Jet Airways stock rallied as much as over 16%. This after CNBC TV 18 reported that a resolution plan is likely to be finalized as early as this week. We learned from sources that Naresh Goyal is likely to step down from the board and give up majority control in the ailing airline. Ritu Singh, who's been tracking that story, joins us now with more details. Ritu, what more can you tell us? I mean, this has been a long, drawn matter. Is it finally coming to some sort of a conclusion?
We understand from sources that a resolution plan for Jet Airways is likely to be finalized as early as this week itself, after all the lenders to Jet Airways hold a meeting to finalize the restructuring package for the company. Now, we understand from sources that under the plans that are under discussion, Naresh Goyal, the current promoter, will see his shareholding halve from 51% to under 26%. We also understand that he has been asked to give up his board position in favor of his son, Nivan Goyal, and the voting rights of the Goyals will be capped at under 10%. In addition, Etihad will also be bringing in fresh funds into the company, which will see their stake rising from 24% 5% held currently. Do remember, banks had put this condition forward that the promoters and Etihad would also have to bring in fresh funds if banks are to implement the restructuring package. In addition, part of the 8,000 crore rupee debt that is sitting on Jet's books, that will be converted into equity, which will then be held by the lenders of Jet Airways, led by State Bank of India. So broadly, these are the contours that are under discussion. The final plan will be announced, we understand from our sources, as early as this week, as soon as all the lenders are on board.
All right, Ritu, many thanks. As I said, this has been long drawn. Perhaps we could see a conclusion this week. That's the information that we are picking up, but of course it's not done till it's done. After months of speculation over will he or won't he, Anant Narayanan has resigned as the Chief Executive Officer of Myntra Jabong. His decision to step down comes 2 months after co-founder Binny Bansal's exit. Binny Bansal was instrumental in bringing Myntra Jabong directly under Flipkart CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy. Mugdha Variyar is here with the details. Mugdha, this has been widely anticipated and now it's official. Who takes over now that Anant is out?
Yes, you're right. Myntra has confirmed what we had reported earlier today, that Anant Narayanan has stepped down as CEO of the company after a 3.5-year stint. Now, Myntra has also confirmed what he reported, that Amar Nagaram of Flipkart is going to step into the role as head of Myntra and Jabong. Now, Nagaram comes from Flipkart, where he was with the company for 7 years, where he was heading the consumer shopping experience. Before that, he had worked at Walmart Labs in the US and had also helped set up the Walmart Labs Center in India. Now, Narayanan's exit comes after months of speculations and is seen as a fallout of Binny Bansal's exit as Group CEO in November, which brought Myntra and Jabong under the control of Flipkart CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy. Now, sources say there could be more churn after this development, given that Walmart is likely to bring all of the fashion business under Flipkart. Remember, there was already some churn in November when Myntra CFO Dipanjan Basu had stepped down and Jabong had laid off about 150 employees because of integration with Myntra.
Mugdha, many thanks. Anant Narayanan's innings with Flipkart and Myntra Jabong coming to an end. Flipkart co-founder Sachin Bansal, meanwhile, has invested $21 million in Ola. This is Bansal's first investment following his exit from Flipkart after the Walmart deal. The investment comes a week after the cab-hailing platform raised $74 million from existing investors, Steadview Capital. Bansal has been issued 70,588 Series J preference shares at a price of 21,250 rupees per share. This latest round has now pushed Ola's valuation to $5.7 billion. So Sachin Bansal on board Ola. 3 years after the controversial JNU, and Delhi police has now filed a 1,200-page charge sheet against 10 people, including former student leaders Kanhaiya Kumar and Umar Khalid. These student leaders have been charged with sedition. The charge sheet alleges that Kanhaiya, Umar Khalid and others had raised anti-national slogans during an event at the JNU campus in February of 2016. Parikshit Luthra joins us now with more. Parikshit, what else does the charge sheet say? And, Kanhaiya Kumar there was an FIR, he was in judicial custody, he was released on bail, and now for an event that happened in 2016, a charge sheet is being filed in 2019 in January.
That's right. The charge sheet has been filed under sections of sedition, 124A, voluntarily causing hurt, forgery, rioting and unlawful assembly as well. It's happening after 3 years. This case happened on the 9th of February 2016. The police in its charge sheet has said that it has clear evidence to prove that Kanhaiya Kumar, the then JNU Students' Union president, was leading a group of students shouting anti-India slogans and also inciting other students to do the same. They are basing their entire case on CCTV footage, mobile footage, video footage that they have from the spot from that night. They're saying that the video footage is genuine. They've got it checked. At the same time, the video footage has been corroborated by eyewitness accounts. There were students who were there at the site of the protest. There were security guards as well, and they're corroborating what the video is showing. They are also saying that Kanhaiya Kumar, Anirban and Umar Khalid were inciting other students as well. They had been denied permission for this protest altogether, but despite that, they started fighting. They started arguing. They did not listen to to those who were telling them that there is no permission and this event cannot happen. 36 others have been mentioned in the charge sheet in column 12, which essentially means the police has cited their names, but also said that currently there is insufficient evidence and they cannot proceed on trial against these 36 people. But 10 people in total have been mentioned in the charge sheet. 7 others are students from Kashmir. They are residents of Kashmir who are from other universities but were present at the site and were also indulging in sloganeering, according to the police.
All right, 1,200-page charge sheet being filed 3 years after the event. Parikshit, thanks very much for joining us. We revisit that story on our special discussion on the sedition laws in India, the use and the misuse, with senior advocate Colin Gonsalves and the ABVP president at JNU, Vijay Kumar. That's coming up. But on to the big story tonight. Left out by the SP and the BSP, the Congress is going to fight all 80 UP seats on its own. However, the party has kept the doors open for a possible alliance. Speaking to News 18 India's Arun Singh in Dubai, Congress President Rahul Gandhi said that Mayawati and Akhilesh Yadav have underestimated his party and have failed to recognize its utility. The Congress President also slammed Prime Minister Modi and accused him of destroying the Indian economy. Take a look.
पहला सवाल मेरा ये है कि आप यहाँ आए, आपने तमाम मुद्दे उठाए, डोमेस्टिक पॉलिटिक्स के भी मुद्दे उठाए, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स के भी। आपने कहा सहिष्णुता देश में बढ़ रही है, आपने कहा रोजगार नहीं है। अब बीजेपी की तरफ से कहा जा रहा है कि राहुल गांधी विदेश में जाते हैं, छवि देश की खराब करते हैं, नौटंकी करते हैं। और राहुल गांधी प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि जो लोग इमरजेंसी लगाए वो लोग असहिष्णुता की बात करते हैं।
देखिए, हिंदुस्तान की छवि, हिंदुस्तान का फाउंडेशन इतना मजबूत है कि उसको कोई डिस्टर्ब नहीं कर सकता है। मुझसे प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में सवाल पूछा जाता है बेरोज़गारी के बारे में, मुझसे सवाल पूछा जाता है भ्रष्टाचार, राफेल के बारे में। अब मुझे जवाब तो देना ही पड़ेगा। मैं ये तो नहीं कह सकता हूँ कि भाई मैं आपको जवाब नहीं दूंगा। मोदी जी घर बैठ जाते हैं, पार्लियामेंट हाउस में आते नहीं हैं, डर जाते हैं, राफेल से डरते हैं। तो मैं तो जवाब देता हूँ। सवाल आप पूछते हो, जो आप मुझसे पूछते हो उसका जवाब मैं देता हूँ। सच्चाई है कि हिंदुस्तान में भ्रष्टाचार बढ़ता जा रहा है। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने अनिल अंबानी जी को 30,000 करोड़ रुपए दिए हैं। सच्चाई है कि बेरोजगारी बढ़ती जा रही है। पूरा हिंदुस्तान जानता है, हर युवा जानता है। किसी से भी आप पूछिए, किसी भी युवा से पूछिए, भैया क्या करते हो, कहते कुछ नहीं करते हैं। तो ये तो सच्चाइयाँ हैं, और सच्चाई बताने से किसी को कमज़ोर नहीं किया जाता है। सच्चाई देखने से देश मजबूत होता है।
अच्छा, एक बात आपने कहा एक अखबार से इंटरव्यू में कि प्रधानमंत्री से आपकी बात नहीं होती। वो जब आपका जिक्र करते हैं, आपके परिवार का जिक्र करते हैं, कहते हैं नामदार, फिर वो कहेंगे कि फ़ोन बैंकिंग होती थी, फिर वो कहेंगे कि जमानत पर रिहा परिवार। इस तरह की एक टर्म जब यूज होता है पॉलिटिक्स में, आप कैसा महसूस करते हैं? उस वक्त आपको क्या लगता है?
देखिए, जो नरेंद्र मोदी जी कहते हैं वो जाने। मैं जो करता हूँ, मैं जो कहता हूँ, मैं प्यार से बात करता हूँ। उनके बारे में भी मैं कहता हूँ, आदर से बात करता हूँ, गलत शब्द प्रयोग नहीं करता हूँ। आपने मेरे भाषण सुने हैं, आप चलते हैं हमारे साथ। मैं उनके बारे में गलत नहीं कहता हूँ, मैं सच्चाई बोलता हूँ। मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने अनिल अंबानी की मदद की, 30,000 करोड़ रुपए चोरी करवाए। प्यार से बोलता हूँ। मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि बेरोज़गारी है। मैं बोलता हूँ कि किसानों का उन्होंने कर्जा माफ़ नहीं किया। झूठ बोला उन्होंने। हर भाषण में कहते थे कि किसानों की मदद करेंगे, और हमने कहा था कि हम 10 दिन के अंदर हिंदुस्तान, राजस्थान, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ के किसानों का कर्जा माफ़ करेंगे। हमने 2 दिन में करा। तो जो हम सोचते हैं, जो हमारे दिल में है, हम करते हैं। हम झूठ नहीं बोलते हैं।
आप सर लगातार ये सवाल उठाते हैं, संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर हमला हो रहा है, और ये बात आप 2-3 साल से कह रहे हैं। शुरुआत में जब आपने कहा तो इस पर बहुत बहस हुई। बाद में एक एक करके जिस तरह से संवैधानिक संस्थाओं के साथ टकराव हो रहा है सरकार का, आपने सीबीआई चीफ का देखा, इस पर क्या कहेंगे?
आप मुझे बताइए, सीबीआई चीफ को 2 बार हटाने की जल्दी क्या थी? मतलब क्या जल्दी थी कि एक बार 1:30 बजे रात को प्रधानमंत्री लिख रहे हैं कि भैया इसको 1:30 बजे रात को हटाओ, और फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट कहता है कि इनको वापस लाओ, और मतलब घंटों में प्रधानमंत्री कहते हैं सीबीआई चीफ को निकालना है। मतलब क्यों? इसका क्या कारण है? और कोई और नहीं कह रहा है। सरकार में गडकरी जी, सुषमा जी, अरुण जेटली जी नहीं कह रहे हैं, नरेंद्र मोदी जी कह रहा है कि भैया इसको हटाओ। क्या कारण हो सकता है? पूरा देश जानता है कि सीबीआई के चीफ राफेल पे इंक्वायरी करने जा रहे थे। पूरा देश जानता है कि उन पर दबाव डाला जा रहा था। पूरा देश जानता है कि जब उन्होंने इंक्वायरी डालने का काम शुरू किया, नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने उनको हटाया। अब क्यों हटाया? राहुल गांधी जवाब थोड़ी दे सकता है, वो तो नरेंद्र मोदी जवाब देंगे। मगर बात सिंपल है, HAL हवाई जहाज बनाना जानती है, 70 साल से बना रही है। अनिल अंबानी हवाई जहाज बनाना नहीं जानता है। पता नहीं कैसे अनिल अंबानी को 30,000 करोड़ का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नरेंद्र मोदी ने दिलवा दिया। वो मेरिट की बात करते हैं, नामदार की बात करते हैं। आप मुझे बताइए अनिल अंबानी में क्या मेरिट है? हवाई जहाज बनाने में क्या क्या जानते हैं वो? तो उन्होंने HAL को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्यों नहीं दिया? अनिल अंबानी को क्यों दिया? ये सवाल है। हिंदुस्तान में इकोनॉमी की धज्जियां उड़ा दी। किसी भी छोटे दुकानदार से आप पूछिए, स्मॉल मीडियम बिजनेस से पूछिए, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस मतलब मजाक बना रखा है। आप किसी भी दुकानदार से पूछिए, भैया हालत क्या है, हाथ जोड़ के कहते हैं भैया नरेंद्र मोदी को पहले हटाओ। तो ये हिंदुस्तान की रियलिटी है, सच्चाई है।
तो आप तो कह ही रहे हैं कि हटा देंगे 2019 में।
मैं नहीं हटाऊंगा, हिंदुस्तान की जनता हटाएगी। हिंदुस्तान के किसान, छोटे दुकानदार, युवा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने वायदा किया था 5 साल में हिंदुस्तान को बदल देंगे। बदल दिया, मगर गलत तरीके से बदला। जो भरोसा लोगों में था, मुझे याद है, जो भरोसा युवाओं में था, वो आज टूट गया है। मुझसे बात करते हैं, कहते हैं हमारा बेवकूफ बना दिया मोदी जी ने, हमारा टाइम जाया किया नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने, इनको अब हम निकालने वाले हैं। ये हिंदुस्तान की भावना है। अच्छा,
सर आप एक सर महागठबंधन का जो मामला था, क्या अखिलेश यादव से मैंने देखा आपकी इतनी अच्छी बातचीत थी, क्या इस महागठबंधन से पहले उन्होंने बात की आपसे, थोड़ा निराशा है या
नहीं?
एकदम
वो ना कांग्रेस पार्टी से, ना हमसे, ना हमारे लोगों से बात की। मगर देखिए, मैंने कल बोला, राजनीतिक डिसीजन है, उन्होंने अपना राजनीतिक डिसीजन लिया और हम उनका आदर करते हैं, मायावती जी का आदर करते हैं, अखिलेश यादव जी का, मुलायम सिंह यादव जी का आदर करते हैं। बट अब हमें अपना काम भी करना पड़ेगा। हमें कांग्रेस पार्टी, उत्तर प्रदेश में कांग्रेस पार्टी को चुनाव लड़ना पड़ेगा और दम से लड़ना पड़ेगा। हम पीछे हट के नहीं लड़ेंगे, हम पूरी फोर्स के साथ, पूरे दम के साथ हर सीट में कांग्रेस पार्टी लड़ेगी। और मेरी थिंकिंग है, शायद गलत है, मगर मेरी थिंकिंग है कि मायावती जी ने और मुलायम सिंह यादव जी ने कांग्रेस पार्टी को अंडर एस्टिमेट किया है और कांग्रेस पार्टी की जो यूटिलिटी है उसको उन्होंने पहचाना नहीं। अब देखते हैं क्या होता है।
चलते चलते एक मेरा आखिरी सवाल आपसे है राहुल जी, 2019 का नैरेटिव क्या होगा? क्योंकि राम मंदिर का मसला कभी उछाला जाता है, कभी
बड़ा सिंपल नैरेटिव अभी, रोजगार, भ्रष्टाचार, किसानों की जिंदगी बदलना, ये 3 मेन मुद्दे हैं। राफेल बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है और 2 साइड वाले मुद्दे, शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य, कम से कम पैसे में हिंदुस्तान के हर नागरिक को दिलवाना, ये बेसिक फाउंडेशन है। और जो वायदे नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने किए थे, जो खोखले निकले, झूठे निकले, उन पे भी सवाल उठेंगे। और नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जो कैरेक्टर है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने HAL के जो वर्कर्स हैं, जिन्होंने अपना खून पसीना, अपनी जिंदगी दी है, उनको परे करके अनिल अंबानी को राफेल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्यों दिया, ये भी बहुत बड़ा सवाल होगा। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू। शुक्रिया।
Well, election season is well and truly upon us. That's Rahul Gandhi after his road shows in Dubai. Time for us to head into a break. But up next, we revisit the sedition case against Kanhaiya Kumar, Umar Khalid and 8 other student leaders of JNU. To discuss that, we'll be joined by senior advocate Colin Gonzalez and ABVP president at JNU, Vijay Kumar.
Second stage tanks now pressurized. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4. 3, 2, 1.
From the depths of the earth to the bottom of hearts, NMDC has touched lives all around. Creating wealth, building sustainable opportunities, and working towards impacting lives positively. NMDC, harnessing Earth's goodness.
Election Budget 2019. On your budget headquarters, CNBC TV 18 and CNBCTV18.com.
Volkswagen.
Welcome back. You're watching India Business Hour Plus. Time now to revisit the big national story of the day. 3 years after the controversial GNU event, Delhi Police has filed its charge sheet against former student union leaders Kanhaiya Kumar, Umar Khalid and 8 others, charging them of sedition under Section 124A. Shireen Bhan caught up with some special guests to discuss this case and the ramification. Here's an excerpt of that interaction.
Joining us now to take the discussion forward, Senior Supreme Court Advocate and founder of Human Rights Law Network, Colin Gonsalves, and the President of ABVP at JNU, Vijay Kumar. Thanks very much for joining us. Mr. Gonsalves, let me start by asking you, and I mentioned all of that at the start of the program for the benefit of our viewers. There is a Supreme Court verdict, the Kedarnath judgment. There is what the Law Commission has recommended as the way forward in August of 2018, which basically reiterates what the Supreme Court said in the Kedarnath verdict, that comments, however strongly worded, expressing disapprobation of actions of the government without exciting those feelings, would generate the inclination to cause public disorder by acts of violence, would not be penal. What do you specifically make of this matter where a charge sheet has been filed today, but in general about the use or the misuse of the sedition law?
Well, let me say at the outset, there's a lot of confusion about what sedition actually means. And even among our colleagues and friends like the speakers before me, even their understanding may be not exactly correct. The English law was what the police say today, the English law of 100 years ago. Namely, that if you say something against the crown, which if you say something against Modi, that is sedition. The Indian law took a dramatic turn. Now words themselves are not enough. Words plus armed action in rebellion to overthrow the state. That is to say, you can say anything. You can say, I want a separate state in Assam. It's not sedition. There's a Supreme Court judgment where a Kashmiri came in Srinagar and said, let's have Azad Kashmir. Supreme Court said, did he do anything after that? Did he throw any bombs? Did he distribute arms? It's not sedition. There's a Punjab case of Khalistan, again, where the Supreme Court said it's not sedition. And I heard my colleague said that I didn't shout those slogans against the government. And I want to say, in law, you can merrily shout and say whatever you want. It may be foolish, it may be discomforting for people, but as long as you don't take arms into your hands and distribute it among your friends and do armed struggle against the state, it's not sedition. So they shouldn't go through the trial.
But Mr.
They should move the High Court and then the Supreme Court for quashing. Just let me finish. They should move the High Court and move the Supreme Court for quashing the proceedings. because there's no sedition at all.
To play devil's advocate, sir, and I'm reading out from when the bail plea for Kanhaiya Kumar was taken up, and the judge said then that the investigation in this case is at a nascent stage. The thoughts reflected in the slogans raised by some of the students of JNU who organized and participated in that program cannot be claimed to be protected as fundamental right to freedom of expression and speech. I consider this a kind of infection from which such students are suffering, which need to be controlled, cured before it becomes an epidemic.
So anyone can make any statement and the judges can get offended, but a judge must keep his legal balance. He must look at Kedarnath Singh's case. He must say that this is not sedition. No, I hate this man for what he is saying. I don't like what he is saying. If I got a chance, I would really scold him. But this is not sedition. I'm sorry, central government.
Very quickly, let me also bring in the president of ABVP at JNU, Vijay Kumar. Vijay Kumar, you've been listening into what Mr. Gonsalves has to say. The Delhi police has now filed this charge sheet in this matter. Your reaction?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to congratulate the students of JNU and the people of India for finally Delhi police, after almost 3 years, are going to have filed charge sheet today. And what Mr. Gonsalves, he was saying, so, sir, with due respect, आप वहाँ पे थे. I was there, and they were not raising slogans against government. Each and every citizen of India, they are supposed to protest against the decision of government, but they were not doing dissent against government. They were celebrating the, they were protesting against the hanging of terrorist Afzal Guru, and they were saying, Bharat ki barbadi tak jang rahegi, Kashmir ki azadi tak jang rahegi. They were not demanding fellowship.
But Mr. Gonsalves, you know, FIR being filed in 2016, judicial custody in 2016, bail in 2016, and a charge sheet being filed in January of 2019. Will this stand legal scrutiny?
Basic issue is, even if suppose somebody turns around and says, if I'm an accused person, suppose I were to say, you know, so-and-so state should become independent, Kashmir should become Azad, it may be considered an obnoxious statement. But the fundamental question is, you can't charge me for sedition. You can charge me for being a loudmouth. There's no criminal offense in that. You can say horrible things against me. That's also all right. You know, you can do other things, but you can't charge me criminally. Because I've not thrown a bomb at anybody, I've not fired a gun at anybody, I've not done any armed struggle against the state. So there's no criminal offense at all.
Against government, against state. If a government changes every 5 years, but a state remains, Mother India will remain. Okay? So, if we are inciting people to take arms, fight against the Mother India, is it not an act of sedition?
Sir, it may be sedition, it may not. In the Kashmir case, he said, we Kashmiris should get together, distribute arms, and fight for Azad Kashmir. In the Khalistan case, he said, we should also get arms and fight for Azad Kashmir. तो आपको लगेगा शायद ये तो बहुत बुरी बात है, ऐसा कहना नहीं चाहिए. लेकिन जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूछा, ये one second, sir, one second. So when it came to सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूछा, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूछा कि ये व्यक्ति तो है जो है शायद बेवकूफ व्यक्ति है, उसने कुछ किया क्या आर्म स्ट्रगल? नहीं किया साहब, तो एक्विट हो गया. खालिस्तान का केस जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आया, सेम क्वेश्चन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूछा, हैज ही टेकन टू आर्म्स अगेंस्ट द स्टेट? नो सर, नो लॉर्डशिप, ही हैज नॉट टेकन टू आर्म्स. देन ही इज एक्विटेड अंडर सेडिशन लॉ. तो आपको खराब लगा होगा शायद सर. व्यू पॉइंट्स आर डिफरेंट. आई अंडरस्टैंड, यू फील बैड, यू फील एंग्री. But sir, the law is like that. It is not sedition. That is the basic point.
Mr. Gonsalves and Vijay Kumar, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18 on the political exchange to decode India's sedition law.
Well, let's talk about the other headlines that we have been tracking for you this evening. Latest in the UP illegal sand mining case. Sources tell Network 18 that the Enforcement Directorate will shortly register a case of money laundering in connection to the scam. Sources say that the Enforcement Directorate will also launch a PMLA case as the CBI has already registered an FIR in the matter. Remember, the CBI raided 14 locations across UP earlier this month. Former UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav is being probed in this very case. Poaching allegations make a comeback in Karnataka politics. Senior Congress leader D.K. Sivakumar accuses BJP of trying to topple the state's coalition government. He alleged that 3 Congress MLAs are camping in a hotel in Mumbai in the company of some BJP leaders. However, state's Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has played down these very accusations. There seems to be no resolution in sight even on the 7th day of the strike by employees of the Mumbai Electrical Supply and Transport. The Bombay High Court today asked the high-powered committee that had been appointed to sort out employee grievances to submit its report in a sealed envelope tomorrow. Meanwhile, the BMC, the government and the BEST has urged the High Court to declare the strike as illegal. All right, time for a very short break on India Business Hour Plus. But coming up, we have a special discussion with Manish Sinha, Managing Director of Dun & Bradstreet India, on the Business Optimism Index. Stay tuned for that.
Second stage tanks now pressurized. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fittings make your furniture work beautifully. German quality you can trust. What do you find when you dig deep into the depths of the earth? We found a few rare elements like commitment, compassion, a passion for perfection, and a vision for a stronger and better tomorrow. That is NMDC. It's not just a pioneering story of one of the world's finest iron ore producers, but a story of leadership with a human touch.
Welcome back. You're watching India Business Hour Plus. Now, Indian businesses are less optimistic about growth in the first quarter of 2019 as compared to the December quarter. According to a survey conducted by Dun & Bradstreet, the composite business optimism index stands at 73.8 in the first quarter of 2019, a 7.2% drop compared to the last quarter of 2018. Be it net profit, new orders or sales volume, India Inc. is less optimistic about an increase in the numbers as compared to the previous 3 months. To discuss findings of the survey, we are joined by Manish Sinha, the Managing Director, India of Dun & Bradstreet. Manish, my first question to you, in your report, you have pointed out 4 key areas, and that largely includes the ruling party in centre losing 3 states in the state elections. It includes an unevenly distributed monsoon. It includes continued protests from farmers with respect to loan waivers and fears of fiscal slippage, along with macroeconomic worries of a slowdown in the global economy. What, to your mind, is attributing to this loss in business optimism, and how long is that likely to continue?
Hi, Kritika. So these things are always a mix of multiple things, and they usually play on each other. And you've listed the combination of domestic and the international drivers of this loss in optimism. So it's pretty much these things. As regards how long it's going to continue, if I had to point out the 2 biggest things in the coming few months that will have the biggest impact, and ideally an upward impact, it would be the budget announcements, and then after that, the elections.
Okay. Manish, if just help us put this into perspective. The overall business optimism index has declined by 7.2%. How significant is this drop if you see the last quarter, if you see the last year at the same time?
Yeah, so those are exactly the two metrics you have to look at, Kritika. So compared with, say, 74, I'm just working round numbers. So compared with the 74 of this quarter, it was 91 in the same quarter last year and 80 in the previous quarter.
Okay. And if you were to put this into perspective, is this the largest drop that we have seen in the recent, say, about 1 to 2 years' time?
No, it's not the largest drop. It is significant. And the other thing to mention is that of the 4 groups of metrics we look at, 4 of them have a moderate drop, which is a combination of the things that you've talked about, right? So, but there is a significant drop in terms of optimism related to selling prices that business can get. And interestingly, there is an upward optimism on the employees and the recruitment that companies intend to do.
Okay, so tell me about the selling prices. What seems to be the driving factor for that, and what was the view of businesses when it comes to recovery with respect to selling prices?
Yeah, so selling prices is always a combination of a few things, right? So the significant drop in selling price comes out of a reasonable drop in 4 areas, which is net sales, net profit, net new orders, and inventory. So on these 4 parameters, there is an overall drop. And all of this means that businesses are saying that I'm not so sure I can realize higher prices from my own customers.
Okay. Manish, the point on new orders, I wanted some clarity on. Now, where largely are the new orders seeing a decline in terms of optimism? You said that there's a decrease of about 7 percentage points as compared to Q4 of 2018. So what sectors are seeing this? Because new orders is something that is critical for sectors like infrastructure, real estate, power, steel to actually see a leg up, which is critical for the economy.
Yeah. So of our 7, the biggest drops in new orders received are in construction, as you pointed out, and services. Services, in turn, are a combination of, 6 subsectors. So BFSI, hospitality, IT, media, retail, etc. But that is secondary to the drop in construction, which is the biggest drop.
So what is the view in that case when it comes to what lies ahead for new orders? Is this likely to continue given the fact that elections are also around the corner? Macroeconomic volatility is not likely to stabilize, at least in the next 2 quarters.
Yeah, so, Kritika, these things are very much dependent upon, business sentiment is, it wants certainty or at least confidence and stability. If you can give stability along with some kind of optimism, which is what we had exactly this time last year, you get significantly upward optimism. And I don't think you're going to get certainty or stability till the elections are over. So that would be the short answer to your question.
Okay, very quickly before we wrap, Manish, volume of sales has seen a 4% dip. Is that a marginal dip in your view, and would that say a recovery around the corner?
Yeah, it is. I would not say it is a huge dip, and that is something that could see a recovery around the corner, because a 4 percentage point drop is not. And
huge. What sectors is that? What sectors is that, Manish?
In terms of new orders?
In terms of volume of sales, yes.
See, volumes of sales, we actually have a positive movement in 2 of the sectors, which is intermediate goods and consumer non-durables.
Okay.
Where you've seen a drop that's pulling the overall average down is construction.
Is construction. So construction seems to be a key area that has affected across the board. Okay, before we wrap, very, very quickly, one last word from you, Manish, with respect to the employee aspect. If you're saying that the employee optimism has increased, does this mean that there are more jobs in the market or there is more supply of employees in the market?
It means the former. It means that there are more jobs.
Okay.
And there is, to some extent, a calendar effect of that, but that's what it means. It means that there are more jobs, companies intend to do more hiring.
Okay, so that is some good news, definitely. Thank you so much, Manish Sinha, for joining in and giving us a wrap of the Business Optimism Index for the quarter and what lies ahead. Let's move on. In line with its Retail 3.0 strategy, Future Group will be investing 1,000 crore rupees to set up about 38 distribution centres across India under its India Food Grid project. Now, CNBC TV 18's Priya Sheth visited one of its large distribution centres in Chandigarh and spoke to Future Group's top boss, Kishore Biyani, to understand the company's growth plans going forward. Take a look.
When we thought about the food business, 10,000 stores, Aadhaar as a rural distribution, we thought of how do we supply, where should be our factories be, and how can we make other people who supply to us participate in something. So the whole idea came about was about how the electricity grids are and how power is generated somewhere and delivered somewhere. How can we create a network like that? And that's how the whole idea came about, creating integrated food distribution centers wherein we manage all temperature control, all products, and with services around 200 kilometers within the radius. And then we designed that how can we create a national grid on it, and then a regional grid, and then the tertiary grid, which is city grids. And then we started investing in it, and now we are ready with it. We have opened our 5 out of 38 distribution centers we want to open. We have created the 5th one. And I think within the next 3 to 4 years, all 38 would be operational. And anybody can enter the grid anywhere, any part, which is the nearest to their factories. And the goods can be delivered to our entire chain. By that time, we should be having 10,000 small stores, 15,000 Aadhaar stores, and multiple big bazaars.
So, of course, this is in line with the Retail 3.0 strategy that you've rolled out. But tell us the kind of investment that you'd be pumping in to actually build these kind of
I think this will require good investments in technology and the physical infrastructure. We expect that 38 centers, whenever, it will be 1,000 crore investment to open up 38 centers like this.
And this would be run under Future Supply Chain?
This is run by Future Supply Chain, because this is not only Future Group participating in it. There are other vendors, our customers, because all our FMCG customers are going to be customers to Future Supply Chain on this.
All right, from one interview to another, India's auto sector is going through a rough patch. According to industry body SIAM, 2018 festival period has been one of the worst periods of Motown. Speaking exclusively to CNBC TV 18's Parikshit Luthra, SIAM President Rajan Vadhera said that while stock levels have been rising, billings have declined. He went on to add that in December alone, the auto industry has witnessed a yearly degrowth of around 3% due to high inventories. Here's an excerpt of that interaction.
Usually the numbers are down in December, but because it is an inventory correction month, but aren't these numbers unusual? 2% drop in sale of passenger cars, 6% drop in the sale of scooters, 2% drop in two-wheelers altogether.
See, this year is a little different from earlier years. First, the festival season was there in November, as you know, and the whole industry had built up volumes at the dealers and of good sales, and those sales didn't happen. And once that didn't happen, the stock levels had gone higher. One had to correct the stock levels, and I'm sure everyone has reduced production. Consequently, the billings are on the lower side as the numbers get reported are the wholesale numbers, which is the billing number and not the retail. So that's why you are seeing degrowth in almost every segment, because stock levels had reached very high, 50, 55. And to correct the stock levels, one had to reduce the billings.
20.7% drop in sale of medium and heavy commercial vehicles. Is that a cause for worry?
Yes, it's a cause of worry. And it's been largely due to, I would say, the axle loading norms, you know, which are legitimized a loading of a certain order. 15 to 20% higher loading is happening now. Consequently, the sales have come down, and also availability of funds not been there.
Well, time now for a very short break. On the other side, who will take the award for the Young Turk Startup of the Year at CNBC TV 18's India Business Leader Awards? We will introduce the top contenders after this very short break. Don't go anywhere.
Second stage tanks now pressurized. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From the depths of the earth to the bottom of hearts, NMDC has touched lives all around. Creating wealth, building sustainable opportunities, and working towards impacting lives positively. NMDC, harnessing Earth's goodness.
The home to one of the oldest civilizations, a mature and diversified industrial ecosystem, Tamil Nadu, India's second largest state economy, welcomes you to the Global Investors Meet 2019, a leading platform where the government of Tamil Nadu opens a world of investment opportunities. Embark on a new investment journey with Tamil Nadu, the investor's choice.
What do you find when you dig deep into the depths of the earth? We found a few rare elements like commitment, compassion, a passion for perfection, and a vision for a stronger and better tomorrow. That is NMDC. It's not just a pioneering story of one of the world's finest iron ore producers, but a story of leadership with a human touch.
Welcome back. They're young, they're brilliant, they're taking the world by storm. The top contenders for the Young Tech Startup of the Year are ShareChat, Sigtuple, Shuttle and Mad Street Den. CNBC TV 18's Megha Vishwanath tells us more about these young and dynamic companies. Take a look.
Founded by three IIT Kanpur batchmates Fareed Hassan, Bhanu Singh and Ankush Sachdeva, ShareChat is a homegrown social networking platform for the next 500 million internet users in India, most of whom won't be English language speakers. Available in 14 languages with an active user base of over 25 million, ShareChat today is one of the leading vernacular content platforms in the country. Founded in 2015 by Rohit Pandey, Apoorv Anand and Tathagato Dastakar, Sigtuple is pioneering machine learning and big data analytics to detect anomalies in pathology tests. Its flagship AI platform Mandana is capable of processing visual metadata from medical devices and medical recommendations. Founded by Amit Singh and Dipanshu Adya in 2015, Shuttle is an app-based bus service that's delivering 50,000 rides daily with home office transport service. Founded by neuroscientist and designer duo Ashwin Ashokan and Anand Chandrasekharan in 2013, Mad Street Den is redefining the future of retail with AI. The AI stack provides solutions for the entire retail value chain, including on-site, on-app experience, marketing and social channels, and even site operations and automation.
Standard Chartered presents CNBC TV 18 India Business Leader Awards.
Well, with that, it's time to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour Plus. From all of us here, thank you for watching. Wish you a very good night.
Presented by Boeing, the future is built here.
Second stage tanks now pressurized. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is eternal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From the depths of the earth to the bottom of hearts, NMDC has touched lives all around. Creating wealth, building sustainable opportunities, and working towards impacting lives positively. NMDC, harnessing Earth's goodness.
मेरे म्यूचुअल फंड्स सबको फॉरवर्ड करता हूँ।
पापा उठो।
जब बात हो पैसों की, कोई भी फेक न्यूज ढाई फॉरवर्ड ना करे और ना ही उस पर रिएक्ट करे। लेट्स ऑल बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल एंड कंसल्ट अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर। Axis Mutual Fund, the responsible mutual fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Work smart with the finest assets for modern offices. Choose from a wide range of specialty products that makes your office work smart. Work smart by EBCO. Ergonomic, convenient, productive.